Welcome to the Simplicity of Wellness podcast. I'm your host, board-certified holistic nutritionist and professional life coach, Amy White. The purpose of this podcast is to share information that you can use to become leaner, stronger, and healthier by losing weight, shedding inches, maintaining muscle, and managing your mind, all while living your normal, busy life in this modern, sugar-filled world. Hello, simplifiers. Recently, there have been news stories talking about two periods in our adult human lives when our bodies go through a period of rapid aging. The first is around age 44 and then again at age 60. The changes happen on the molecular level and with microbes in your body. At 44, the molecular changes that happen within the body impact cardiovascular health, skin, muscle, and how we metabolize alcohol, caffeine, and fat. If you're listening and you're over 40, I bet you're thinking, yep. The research suggests age 44 and 60, but I wonder if those are averages. I'm wondering this because I feel like this age 44 change hit me earlier than that, more like 37. Anywho, these molecular changes at 44 seem to track with some of the more common complaints made by aging women. Cholesterol concerns, lines, wrinkles, cellulite, and dry, itchy skin, less muscle tone, and weight gain. At 60, the molecular changes appear to be similarly related to cardiovascular disease, skin issues, muscle loss, and caffeine metabolism. But we get some extra things like issues with the immune system, kidney function, and our ability to metabolize carbs. I recently put up a silly Instagram reel that highlighted the three big complaints of women over 40: no energy, body aches and pains, and weight gain. The point of this reel wasn't to make you feel bad. It was to point out that these are red flags your body throws to get your attention. It's your body asking for assistance. While many of us thought that something was different in our 40s, there's now research that tells us we were right. The thing that's important to remember: life is a choose-your-story adventure. What happens to you tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year isn't written. You get to choose what your story will be. You're given some facts. Let's call them the facts of life. Shout out to my younger years. One fact is we're getting older. When you turn 44 or 60, that's a fact. There's documentation to prove this. How you think about that age fact and respond to this circumstance of your life is totally within your control, and how you choose the story you want to tell. Some people will choose to believe their circumstances or life facts dictate their story. These are people who believe they have zero control. These are the people who saw this new research about big body changes at 44 and 60 and felt validated for how awful they feel. In their mind, they don't have a choice. It's just what happens when you get older. Then there are other people who see facts for what they are. Just facts. No drama. They look at facts as something that they can manage by how they think about those facts and then the behaviors they make in relation to those facts. The women who hit their 40s and realize they don't feel right, that their body's off and they decide they're going to do something about this, are the women who are choosing to control their story. They're not looking at their life facts and just throwing in the towel. They're making an effort to figure themselves out so that they can follow the story they want. The best part? I truly believe if you make the effort to figure yourself out in your 40s, those molecular changes at 60 won't hit as hard. I'm not yet 60, so I can't speak from personal experience, but my husband is in his 60s, actually late 60s, and from what I've observed, his 60s have been some of his healthiest and fittest years. He's the person I'm trying to keep up with. I'm his sidekick. Adventure trekking in Nepal last year to Mount Everest Base Camp was his idea. Hiking the Grand Canyon rim to rim last month was his idea. And I can tell you that there's a big trek for next year already in the works. Figuring my body out in my 40s wasn't a one-and-done deal. Your body, my body, is always changing. My goal is to continue to understand the changing needs of my body so that I can continue to support those needs no matter what my life facts are. Everything I do for my body is to manage how my story unfolds. I know how I want to age. how I want to feel, how I want to look, and what I want to be able to do. I'm choosing my story by focusing on specific goals and then making sure my behavior supports my ability to achieve those goals. For example, I want to be fit and active as I age. I want to continue to have the ability to say yes to adventure travel. One of the behaviors that I focus on for my fit, active goal is exercise. I lift weights to maintain and increase my muscle mass, to maintain bone health and strength, and to maintain and increase my balance. I've exercised for most of my life. As I've aged, my exercise has changed and adapted so that I could support my body properly. In the past, I was a cardio queen, lots of aerobics, running, and spinning. That worked until it didn't. I shifted to weightlifting, and then when I turned 50, I started powerlifting. This was fun until it wasn't. My body eventually got really stiff and sore, and I realized that putting a heavy barbell across my shoulders and squatting was actually holding me back from my goal of being active. I was too stiff and sore to move. My weightlifting has shifted to strength training and muscle building. This type of exercise makes it possible for me to enjoy adventure trekking. I can easily hike up and down hills, climb over obstacles, lift and carry a heavy backpack, and quickly find my balance if I trip. Another goal is brain health and the avoidance of Alzheimer's and dementia. My diet and behavior with food is what I do to increase the likelihood of achieving this goal. As you can see, your goals and your behavior write the story of who you are. Don't settle for facts. Embrace the facts of your life and then create a plan to manage those facts so that they work into the story you choose for yourself. When it comes to managing your body and your story, I believe the best place to start is with your food. Rapid aging at 44 and 60 had one thing in common: a change in our ability to metabolize food, specifically fats and carbs, the way our younger body used to. Start by prioritizing your protein intake. This will help offset the muscle changes that happen with aging and crowd out more of the fatty, carby foods that our bodies don't handle as well as they used to. When it comes to carbs and fats, keep these things separate as much as possible. Avoid the foods that combine fats and carbs: donuts, cake, cookies, ice cream, pizza, buttered popcorn. Healthy carbs are vegetables and fruits, whole foods that come with built-in fiber. Healthy fats are fats that come with animal protein, as well as coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, grass-fed butter, avocados, and olives. If you need help rewriting your story, click the link in the show notes to set up a free consult. Enjoy your week, and I'll be back in the next episode. Life is busy, and when we're busy, sitting down to a meal often isn't realistic, which means we're grabbing snacks. If you're eating on the run more often than not, click the link below the podcast to grab my healthy snacks list. You'll find lots of ideas for mini meals at home and easy on-the-go travel snacks.